One. Hello and welcome to the Oh Dear Podcast. My name is Cristian Duran, Senior Vice President of the Oh Dear Podcast, Oh Dear Nation, Oh Dear Limited, and Oh Dear Weekly, and all subsidiaries there in 42, which with me as always on the one podcast where we talk about the things that make your mother clutch her pearls and yell, oh dear, are my co-hosts Bret Raybould and Nick Whitmer.
Yes.
Christian's in form. Christian's in form.
Well, let's cut out the fucking malarkey and bullshit. Let's get to what we're really talking about.
Let's get to the
Brett just
the thing that needs to be talked about right now.
Brett tickled my medulla oblongata. He fucking he captured my imagination with what's going on. So Brett, go ahead.
All right, here's what's up, guys. I woke up, I'm getting on the pod, and I come in with that hot, I gotta say some shit energy, even though like what I'm about to say is nothing that matters to my friends' lives. But when you do that, you're basically going, you're my friends, you just have to hear me complain. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So anyway, woke up, do the dishes. I have this, and I did the dishes in my apartment. There's a full sink, even though they, the majority of them aren't mine. And by the way, for what it's worth, I cooked in a pan and then left it for my roommate to have the food that I cooked for both of us to be a good roommate. Like, I love the guy. He's great. And then he ate the leftovers of that meal. So he got 2 to 3 meals, out of which I got 1. So in my head, I'm like, I'm not doing those pans. Yeah. If you get the food, the original and the leftovers, and maybe a third leftover, that's your dish. That's at that point. And then I'm annoyed because I'm doing all the cups. And I think my roommate threw out my cups because we have this ongoing feud of he believes less cups is better, so it forces you to do dishes. But I'm sitting there going, you ain't doing the fucking
But you're not
dishes.
doing yeah.
Like a lot of cups. There's in what world is 12 cups instead of 5 in a cabinet, like fucking over your head. We're like, no, I can't. It's just one of those things where roommate peculiarities, but I'm pro cup. I'm pro many cups.
It would be like only wanting 3 pairs of underwear, so you had to do more laundry.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's really like, isn't it? Don't you want to do less laundry? You know what I mean? Like not necessarily less laundry, but like less frequently. Like if you have more cups, you have to do the dishes. You're always going to have to do the dishes. But if you have more cups, you can at least go a little bit longer between having to do dishes, right?
Yes. And get this, we had the read through at the house, full cast read through of our play at the house. And we don't have any cups. So people are like, can I have a glass of water? And I got to pull out these like party tray, like everyone's drinking out of like plastic saucepans.
Like a saucer, it looks like something you would give a cat.
Yes. Because that's just what we had. It was like a sauce tray. And I was like, that's all we have. So now we got our cast of grown professional adults drinking out of like glorified contact lenses.
I know.
like oh, perfect. I wanted just an eighth of an ounce of water to hydrate myself, and it's a small thing. But then I believe I want to ask him this morning politely. And by the way, he's a close friend, and he might be awake hearing me podcasting about this situation right now.
That's fine.
But he's a dear friend, and I want to ask him, like, did you throw away my cups? I got these nice cups from my one of my best friend's cousins were moving out, and they live in a fancy schmancy place. And they were like, yo, we have these nice, you want these cups? And I was like, those are nice cups. And they're like Williams-Sonoma cups. They're like nice giant glasses. They're huge, and they're amazing. And now I think they got thrown away because just like the idea, like, my roommate is one of my favorite people, but he has a peculiarity where he randomly thinks some things are clutter, but then all of his shit is not clutter. So I have I like having 6 extra cups, and that's clutter in the cabinet. But meanwhile, there's just shit strewn everywhere. It's like, what the fuck, bro?
Yeah,
it's all good though.
No, that's fascinating to me. The idea. First of all, like just throwing out someone else's property is like pretty. It takes a lot of golf.
I think it's like a weird living situation. So I'm pretty sure he probably thinks it was the monks who lived here before.
Okay, that makes sense. All right.
The cult of monks who devoted themselves to a life of voluntary poverty. To which I say, Would one of those monks have a Williams Sonoma glass?
Right, they would not. Yeah, that's interesting, and it's also like throwing out cups is like throwing out somebody's towel. Like it's like I don't know, like you don't do that.
Yeah.
Not without their permission, or you got to say like, "Hey, this is a moldy ass towel. Like it shouldn't be here anymore." But that's really
But then it would that even in that situation, it'd be like, don't you project onto me what my hygiene level needs to be of just my body.
Yeah.
Although I did have a roommate once who was so smelly, the other 3 roommates had to step in and tell him, you need to clean up your body and shower.
Oh, man.
Did they do it?
I mean, it's so hard to tell a 26, 27-year-old adult male.
Wasn't it the guy who he worked at a car garage too?
He worked. He was
like a mechanic or something.
And he would tell me he would never clean himself because he was like, I'm going to get dirty tomorrow. It's like,
okay, that's
dude,
good.
we could smell him coming from across, like down the block.
Oh no.
Jesus.
Every day. So he had like the smelliest job and then wouldn't shower. And it would just be like, he would be in his room, door closed, and it wouldn't seal in the flavor. You could in the communal room, you could just smell him. You're like, good Lord, we had to.
He's like the opposite of the roommate. Instead of like, hey man, if we have less dishes, we have to do the, about doing like the dishes last. He's like, I don't ever do the dishes. I don't ever clean my body.
Yeah, I don't do the dishes on my body.
Yeah, I'm never gonna do it. He's like not worried about clothes. Like, fuck it, dude. Yeah, that's gross, man.
And the grossest. That was a weird conversation on.
It's really funny. Like I shit my pants. Well, I mean, I'm gonna shit tomorrow, so might as well just get it all done. Like, but by that philosophy, it's like I'm gonna get dirty again tomorrow. So why not? So why bother? But like the philosophy doesn't make sense because I'm like, well, when are you gonna get clean?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. When is the appropriate time to get clean?
Yeah. I shit my pants. I'm gonna shit tomorrow. So why even do that with your babies, guys? Just go to your wives. Go, babe. They're gonna have a dirty diaper again. So let's just reuse this one in perpetuity.
Dude,
it's trying to get the most bang out of the buck for the diaper. Just be like, listen, let's let her shit in it a couple times before we change it. I mean, come on,
let's get the best use out of it.
It's gonna have to change it again. So fuck, dude.
Yeah, if we can cut down our diaper usage by a half, we'll be, you'll probably be able to buy another place, Christian. Or
I was thinking about diapers the other day. Like, where did diapers must be like such a bad thing for the environment.
Yeah, they're pretty bad.
Like, I don't know if they are biodegradable or not. They don't seem like they would be biodegradable. They made diapers so durable and like to be able to absorb so much piss and shit and stuff. And they're amazing, but like we fill up a diaper bin and throw it in the garbage. There's no recycling because it has shit and piss in it. So I'm like, is there just a landfill with like every baby's diaper in it? First of all, just our diaper bins, like my wife's always like, it smells like a dead raccoon. Like it's like it's really the diaper bin is it's so bad. It's like, imagine if every time you shit, you put it in a bucket. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's true.
It's like the fucking grossest smelling thing. So we just throw it away and then it goes to a landfill and it just shits out and rots with every other baby's shitty diapers. It's like, where do we put this shit, dude? Where does it go?
It just sits there. Like, our diaper pail is really gross. Even if you take out the bag, like the bag of gross diapers, put a completely new bag in, you open it up and it still smells like a waft of just fucking feces.
Oh yeah.
That doesn't get old, does it, huh?
Oh my God. And it fills up the entire room. You're like, dude, what the fuck? How's this baby shit this bad? But yeah, it's like, but diapers are one of those things that it's like insanely bad for the environment, I think. But it's one of those that like an environmentalist will be like, hey, those are really bad. And then parents will just be like, hey, you know what? Fuck you. Fuck you. I need this one. I need this one.
Oh, they're bad. Well, then why don't you take care of my baby, you motherfucker?
I'm doing the best I can. So fuck off.
If
Yeah.
you keep using diapers, if we stopped this non-biodegradable diaper usage, we could cure climate change by 2025. Fuck you. Fuck off.
Oh, good
Fuck
for you.
Becoming an immediate immature 15-year-old.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Clapping. Oh, this guy wants to end climate change in 4 years. Oh, look at me. I'm a little bitch.
That's the newest thing, by the way. I've seen it going around on like TikTok and YouTube and stuff. Is like there are people who are now becoming climate change deniers.
Oh, good.
Oh,
and-
let's ride.
Dude,
Let's
stop.
go.
And there's like people who are like you know how like there's people who are just smart enough to make it sound good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like there's this one woman and she was having a debate with another the woman who's pro climate change is like, well, 98% of scientists believe in climate change. And she goes, so? And she goes,
Yeah.
well, that's a lot. And she goes, science isn't a democracy. Like she's like 98%. That doesn't mean it's not a populist thing. It's like science is like there's only one right and one wrong. Like that doesn't matter if the 2%'s the right one and the 98%'s the right one. It doesn't matter. There's only one right. But like she's having this very compelling argument, and then you just go, well, that's she's not wrong there. But like I just feel like there's so much contrarian shit. Like I don't trust anything anymore. Like because this is the thing about content. Christian and I were talking about it a little bit before the podcast. Is like content is such a monetizable thing now for some people that you don't even need to be right. You could just completely just need the content. And if you know that your content's going to piss off a lot of people, it's almost beneficial. No, it is beneficial to you because you're going to get hate watches and you're going to get more eyes on your thing. And then your profile is going to explode. So everybody now like has a motive. Everybody has an agenda. And it's become, I think almost everything on the internet has almost become unwatchable. Because like, last night I like just turned on YouTube and the first video that pops up is from Breaking Points, that news commentary show on YouTube. And they're like, it's about something that Sunny Hostin had said on The View, right? So they go, hey guys, we're here at Breaking Points. We're going to talk about this fucking bitch, Sunny Hostin, on The View and her dumbass opinion. Here it is. And they show her little blurb. And then they go, well, here's what I think about it. So I'm like, so your show is you are commentating on somebody else's commentating. And now it's not even about the issue anymore. It's not even about, I think they're talking about freedom of speech in Twitter. It's not even about that anymore. Now it's about, hey, look at this dumb bitch with her dumb opinion. Here's my opinion about how her opinion is shit and how she's a fucking idiot. Like, that's what everything, it's like, it's become to the point where like, I just can't, like, I just want to watch, I would rather watch a hacky sitcom because at least I know. I'd rather watch the fucking, I don't know, I'd rather watch The Big Bang Theory, honestly, than any of this other shit. Because at least they're earnest about just trying to make the thing that they wanted to make.
Trying to make something just like funny or not.
Yeah.
It's like, it's like funny. It's like comedy made to be funny, but it's not like funny.
Right. But it's not like the people who made The Big Bang Theory were like, ooh, this is in the news, so let's make an episode all about it, and then we can, you know what I mean? It's like everybody's just trying to own somebody else. So at least like you're just wrote a scripted comedy that has jokes in it. At least that I'm not worried about you. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
I have a new podcast coming out called "This Is Why My Co-Host of My Other Podcast, Nick Whitmer, is a Fucking Idiot." Bret Raybould.
Yeah, it's just burning him.
Yeah.
It's well, the thing that really irritates me is that these people have to have content, so they have to have an opinion. So that's what like bothers me about, like, even if you don't think anything about this Sunny Houston, whatever, like the thing is now you have to have an opinion. Like, people on Twitter have been asking me what my opinion is on fucking Sunny Houston, so here it goes. And then they come up with a fucking video. It's like, most of it is like bullshit. They don't even, it's not even an opinion they really have, but they know they have to have something. Like, I'm sure Tucker Carlson, like, I don't think he cares about everything he talks about, but he has to fill,
Oh, bro.
an hour every day. So he has to come up with something.
There's no better constipated brow furrower on cable news than Tucker Carlson.
Right.
He treats everything like he is like deeply investigating it, and he's like,
Yeah.
oh my
Yeah.
God.
It's like I know he mastered that look by being in 5th grade social studies and he wasn't paying attention. You know what I mean? Like it's such a strained I'm listening look.
I would love to write on the Daily Show, but that always seems like such a hard job to be a writer on there. Especially me, just because I'm like I don't give a fuck that much about politics. So like having to come up with like jokes about Suzanne Collins or like Mitt Romney, I'd be like, I mean, I don't know, like
awful.
I would just be on the Wikipedia, like trying to write stuff.
What an awful life. Isn't it funny? Isn't it funny how you just think of comedy and you go like, "What an awful life having to write for that show."
Yeah. That's why I started with I would love to write for that show.
It's like I gotta talk to model Trevor Noah every day. Like this guy's a male model. Oh man! And then and then you have to write about Tim Munchin and just random shit. Like who cares about these people? They're not in my life. They're not anything I care about. They're just like interchangeable proper nouns.
Yeah.
Like who is the piñata this week? Okay.
The jokes, yeah, and the jokes have to be purposely simple so they come across as like hacky, you know, like Trevor Noah. I mean, it's like I don't like make it my business to like openly shit on other comedians, but like so many times you hear Trevor Noah on the Daily Show do a joke and it's like the most common denominator joke of all time. It happens so frequently, and it's because, well, how else are you going to do a joke about Joe Manchin? You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like the only way to do it is to kind of be hacky about it and to do like a joke about how, oh, he's a Democrat who is actually a secret conservative. Okay, so what else is a secret? Oh, you know what I mean? Like you're just doing like
it's like ad libs.
Yeah, it's like
it is. This is like the jokey. I can't even do a Trevor Noah impression. Chris Christie is about to run for. God, he's got a hard voice to try and mimic.
Yeah,
but Chris Christie is running for president, which is surprising because he doesn't run for anything. It's like that's the type of God, I hate politics jokes that aren't about like politics in an abstract, bigger way,
right.
But are about like wordplay. Grr. But that's the strictures of that show. You have to produce 30 minutes of digestible comedic content, so that's what you're gonna do. But late night shows, is there anything more archaic than a late night show? Is there anything that feels less relevant to how we want to ingest entertainment than a show on television late night? That's why James Corden is leaving his show because he's like,
I was just about to say that.
A real or more real showbiz career. And by the way, I will go on the record and say James Corden stinks.
Oh, he stinks. Yeah,
I will go on the record happily.
This is the first time I actually respect his decision about something to leave, and it is not just because I don't like him and I don't want his show to be on the air. I mean, it's not. I don't even feel that strongly.
No, I just don't want him to have a good life. He just
you're like, dude, I'm rooting for his demise.
I want to read in the news that he's having marital problems, and I just want to read shit isn't going well for him.
The thing is, though, it's like it just kind of shows you how dead end those jobs are, because if waiting in the wings like Conan used to, and like those late night shows used to be the best place to be, because you are next up. You come on at a later time slot. You can do different types of jokes. You can go viral on the internet. Like it used to be like a fun, irreverent thing, but network comedy has never been safer than it's been. And I think that just doing that job, and then like Kimmel and who is in Colbert, like Colbert's and Kimmel and Fallon are not going to step down because they're probably the last ones that are going to do this job, and they're just going to milk it forever. like there's this type of job. Like, I don't know the finances of the show. Maybe the shows are so inexpensive to put on that they'll just always have this type of show. But I know for a fact nobody watches. I mean, I heard Kimmel talking about how after they air a show, they put up the clips on YouTube before the show even airs because they get more views on YouTube. So he's like, "Oh, my opening monologue will actually be on YouTube before it even airs on TV, because who gives a shit about TV? Like, they're even aware of how limiting their own thing is. And at what point do you just cut out the middleman and just have an internet show or a YouTube show? Like, why do you even need NBC at that point? So all these guys, like, you're going to get tired of doing the same shit over and over again. Like, what's the whole point? And if you're James Corden, it's not like you're going to wait out Colbert and then you're going to get his job. Why would you even want his job? Like, what is so good about it anymore?
There's so much Colbert doesn't like his job. He didn't even go to watch the stand-ups.
Yeah.
We all know that. For those listening, whenever a stand-up comedian does the Late Show with Stephen Colbert, he literally pre-tapes him going. He's not there. They film the stand-up set at another time with a block of comedians, and Colbert is not there. So when you see him, even if he says, "Give it up for the hilarious," let's just say Pedro Gonzalez, he recorded that when Pedro wasn't in the room,
and he turns his chair over to the stage to make it look like
he's gonna
he's gonna watch him.
Man, what the hell?
Yeah.
Can't watch a comedian. I can't be bothered to watch random comics do 5 minutes of.
He's like, I need to get out of this building as fast as possible, and that 5 minutes is really gonna eat up my time.
Yeah, Colbert's like, I need to get out of this building as fast as possible so I can go worship the Lord.
Yeah, and to be fair, if I hosted his show, I wouldn't watch any of the comedians either, because I hate watching comedians. I really do. Like, I'm just like, okay, well, who are you? Are you really gonna wow me in your network safe 5 minute set? I'm out. See ya.
I mean, shout out to Jimmy Fallon. Jimmy Fallon sits there and watches. He's like, in the background. He's laughing.
He guffaws.
Yeah, he really is generous.
Brings the crowd up.
Yeah, he's generous back there, where he's like laughing at your set and in shot. It's pretty nice. Nice guy.
Yeah, but then he's an alcoholic. So what are you gonna do?
I've heard stories.
Am I going off on all of the late night hosts? Like,
pretty much.
Am I being mean?
I mean, you went after Corden, Colbert. Did you go after Kimmel? No.
Well, all I said about Colbert is I mockingly said he worships the Lord.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that?
But
you said it in the most dismissive way.
Yeah, exactly.
Like he was going to a Scientology meeting.
Yeah.
Well, he's just very religious, and it's just good. It's good. It's all good. It's good to be.
Yeah.
I don't think you've shit on Seth Meyers, so if you could do that'd be helpful.
He's a harder one to shit on. I mean, he
really, he's the least funny of all.
Whitmer's got ammo for days. Really? Because I could.
I feel like
anyway. I would love to do any of their shows.
I mean, I think Seth Meyers would actually be the nicest person. Maybe not. I don't know. There's something about him that's very. I don't know. But his show kind of stinks. Like, it's, I mean, they all do. It's not their faults. They're all funny people. They're all talented people.
They're all funny people. That actually is true. There's a couple of them that would be funny.
Yeah, I just think the format is so tired and like limiting, and you can only do a certain amount of things. And then the people who try to do it like irreverently always fuck up. Like I think Norm was talking about it. The comedian Eric Andre had a little like show like that on Comedy Central, and it was supposed to be just the wacky version. And like the first day he comes on, and then he like takes his sledgehammer and like busts
Eric
up
Andre show. What do you mean?
What do you mean? Is it still on?
He's had Eric Andre show for like 8, I don't know, a bunch of years.
But
so that's not even a late night show. That's just like a Eric Andre does insane.
Is a crazy person on Adult Swim.
Oh,
it works because he's like insane.
I thought it was
like a late night show.
I thought it, because he did that bit where he like comes out and fucks up the desk with a sledgehammer. Yeah, and then like does interviews at a broken desk.
Yeah.
I just thought that was like the whole show.
So what were you saying? Norm had a point about that, or he was just
Well,
saying
yeah,
normally
he's like, you're trying to be like rock and roll and irreverent, but you break the desk, and it's like, is that really what the show is? Like, the shows you're making fun of and mocking, is the desk really the thing that's the problem? And then you're just sitting there without a desk for the rest of the show. He was basically like, I don't get, like,
I could
and
see Norm not liking the Eric Andre show.
yeah, and
When I
also,
think about their comedy.
yeah, I mean, Norm was like, irreverent in his own ways, but I guess he's also like very respectful of like Letterman and all those guys. So I think, that's probably where that comes from. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't know that was an entire show. I know he had the other parts of it where he was like the cop and him made out and like, so those things. I didn't realize that was the same show. I thought those are two different shows. But that's my ignorance, because who watches TV?
Yeah.
I
Anywho.
watch TV. I watch it every day.
Christian tells me he runs a blog where he watches every late night host's monologue and breaks it down. It's funny. There's not even an autistic person out there who does that.
What's his name would do that? Judd Apatow said he did that. He would watch like, Jay Leno and all Tonight Show and all the late night shows and like write down like transcribe SNL and their monologues and stuff and try to figure out how the math worked of the jokes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how he became Judd Apatow, I guess.
Yeah.
Hey, it worked out for him. He is now the richest man in comedy. So,
did you see The Bubble?
What's The Bubble?
Yeah, I did.
It's a Netflix movie. It's kind of like, I haven't seen it because like the premise annoys me, but it's like such a, I don't know, it's probably great. I don't know, but just the premise is like a bunch of actors working on a movie are stuck in their COVID bubble because the pandemic starts, and then now they're stuck in a hotel, and they can't act or something. And I was just like, I don't know, like movies about like COVID. I'm like, ugh.
It has two things going against it: movies about COVID and movies about making movies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, ooh, those are two strikes on something. I don't know if I'm care.
I watched it, and it's very much like the formatting has been done to death. The mockumentary type thing.
Okay.
Like
I didn't know it was a mockumentary.
Well, there's like parts. It's just like, it's a movie about a movie. Like it's like that whole thing has been done to death so much, and like there's some funny jokes in it, and it's really like it's the same criticism of every Judd Apatow movie is there's needlessly 40 minutes extra in it, and it's like, I'm not saying that because it's like this one, like, because other ones you kind of like everybody involved. Mm-hmm. So like when you're watching like 40-Year-Old Virgin, you're like, oh, that's a little too long. And you're like, all right, maybe, but I like those characters, so I didn't mind it, But when you're watching a movie where like every character in the movie is a person who you hate because you're supposed to hate them because they're all like really annoying actors and shitty people, and it's really hard to justify those extra 40-45 minutes of watching when you don't like any of the characters. And that's the thing, is like when you're so many things are about that now, is like characters who aren't grounded in any way at all. Like, you watch shows and it's like every character is an asshole, but that's the point. You know what I mean? Like a Succession is like the serious version, and like Righteous Gemstones is the comedy version, and and I like both those shows a lot, so I'm not even shitting on them, but it's just, I'm a little tired of, you're like, yeah, okay, we get it. All these people suck. Can you maybe make a show where people are likable? Have you ever tried that? You know what I mean? Like,
well, yeah. I mean, but then there's complaints on the opposite end of the spectrum when you have Ted Lasso. Right. So like, there's Ted Lasso is literally the opposite. Everybody's like likable. It's the most like wholesome, uplifting show, and then people are like, dude, fuck this show. It's too nice.
Yeah.
I'm sure everybody's like, well, what the fuck do you want me to do? Yeah. What do you want us to do? Just a bunch of people sitting around just talking about fucking, I went to the deli. Pretty good sandwich.
I guess it's just like authentic, because you could like make a point about like a show like Seinfeld and how the characters in Seinfeld are all, not on paper likable people, because they're all very petty and very, neurotic and stuff. But you like all those characters because I think like they found a authentic way of doing those types of characters, and that's like an iconic show, so it's hard to just put everything up against a very iconic, well-written, almost perfect sitcom and be like, well, why don't you do that? Because it's like, yeah, it's really fucking hard to find not only like the right cast to do all those things, but the right writers and all those things. But yeah, I mean, you watch some of these shows and you're like, yeah, we get it. Like, it's just so like annoying. And I think that's the risk of kind of what we're in right now, which is this like content mania where everybody's making something and everybody is attempting to entertain people. So when you're watching something, I feel like there's almost more scrutiny on it because you're like, dude, I could be TikToking right now. You know, I could be watching that other show right now. I could be doing
phone,
this. Like, what are you doing with this fucking bullshit, dude? Like,
that phone is always burning a hole in your pocket. Just like, you want it? I can show you something. You can look. I mean, your phone is constantly like, you could be looking at a hot girl right now.
Right.
Why don't you just go to that Instagram Discover page? What are you doing? Just go ahead. Flip open a Playboy. Yeah. I got a Playboy in your pocket every day of the week. That's what it is. It's just like.
And they're like, also, do you want to learn about gardening? Because you can learn that too. Yeah. You've always wanted it. You've always been curious about that.
Yeah. Here are your 5 interests. Andy Rock, here's the killers. You like the killers? I know you like the killers.
You should read more. Yeah, you don't read enough. I have a new Jonathan Franzen book. You want to read that? You should read.
You're like, I do like the idea of reading. I love it. It's like, reading is like yoga. I love the idea.
While you're reading the book on your phone, we're also going to like notify you of other shit that's going on to distract you from reading. Like, it's great. It starts innocently, you know, like it's like you're hanging out with someone and they start to get boring, and then you just text somebody better. And then it's like you're watching a show, it starts to meander, and then you start playing Tetris.
Is that why people text when I talk?
And then it kind of just creates this stimulus seeking mind where you're always constantly trying to fill it with stimulation. So like any moment in your own thoughts is boring as fuck in comparison to going on a subreddit about your favorite hockey team and reading. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, I have I'm trying to do a bit about this whole thing on stage. Is like, I have the newest iPhone, so it's waterproof. And I think most people want a waterproof phone in case they drop their phone in the toilet and it doesn't break. It's like, I have a waterproof phone so I can watch YouTube in the shower. Because God forbid 6 minutes goes by where I'm not filling my mind with more stimulation. Like I can't even shower without being entertained. Like at
hot
nighttime,
water on command, something previously undreamable about for all of human existence until like 1950 or so, like 60.
Right.
That's so funny.
And at nighttime, I put an earbud and I listen to a podcast. It's like, who's bored by their sleeping? Who's like, I need to fill up this sleep with some fucking entertainment here. I need some content to help out my boring ass dreams. Like, what are you fucking talking about?
I love the idea of you know, like your dreams are just that podcast. Like you're just watching Ira Glass in a studio. Like it's a 3-hour dream of him just being, hi, I'm joined today by Leslie Mann. We're here to talk about her newest project. Like, oh, fuck. Got Ira all up in the dreams. I know what you mean. The stimulation never can cease. It's kind of pathetic. And that's why we do like going to movies in the movie theater. The movie theater is like almost this thing that just guilts me into not looking at my phone.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And it's good. I literally turn my phone off, and it's the only time a day. My phone is never off except for the 2 hours in a movie theater. I never turn my phone off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's always on. And when I'm sleeping, it's my alarm. They shouldn't. There's like, God, it was so genius and bad that they made the iPhone the like Ecto knife. What's that knife called?
X-Acto knife.
X-Acto knife for like just all of your shit.
Yeah.
It just, I think it would be good to have like a flip phone? A flip phone and like this is my iPod that does everything.
Yeah. The problem is that like I've thought about that before too, but then you're the guy with the flip phone who's like, no, guys, I don't have a social media. I have a flip phone. You're like, oh, fuck you. Like, really? You're so fucking, you have so much discipline. We're all impressed, asshole. Like, it's not like you're not just as vain and fucking simple minded as everybody else. Like, you find another way to fill it up.
But that would be hilarious. Like, it is hilarious to think of if you had to walk around with all of the tools your iPhone could do. You know what I mean? You're walking around with, I got alarm clock, I got my calendar right here,
flashlight.
I got a flashlight. Here's my stopwatch. Here's my Discman music player. I
TV,
walk around
your portable television.
I always bring 3 to 4 Playboys with me wherever I walk.
It's like a huge camping bag.
Just in case, like I'm talking to a friend. I've been talking to a friend, and I'm like, let's just look at a hot girl. Like, it's pathetic. Like, could you imagine if you're just we're having a conversation and you're just thumbing through a fucking Hustler?
Yeah. Not to mention an actual cordless phone or something to call people on.
It's everything it does, and I don't know. It would be good though. I think because the texting would be that would suck because texting is just a part of how we communicate. So trying to text on a flip phone would be more inefficient than just having. You would need what was the iPad? Not an iPad. Whatever that iPod was that followed it was like an iTouch. That's what it was. Remember the iTouch?
Yeah.
That thing had a moment. That was like basically an iPhone, but it couldn't call or text. It was just
right. And then quickly
became obsolete.
iTouch.
Yeah, I think iTouch would be good to have if you want to know the truth. Bring it back.
Oh yeah, iPod Touch. That's what it was. It was basically just the iPod with like a screen. Yep. Man, I forgot about that.
Remember
They're
those?
Still like $300 on.
Yeah, dog.
Rare Apple iPod first generation, 5 gigs works, $1,500 for the one with like the wheel on it, like the old shitty wheel.
Pull up, dog. Yeah, pull up.
Yeah, I was wondering, I was thinking, for watching movies at home, because it's so dangerous to put a movie on at home, and it's really unfair because every movie at home kind of sucks. Even though I want to see I'd rather see every movie at home. I'm not paying attention, and I'm like, this is stupid and boring. It always used to make me mad. Hot girls would do this a lot. They'll go into a comedy show halfway through. And then everybody's laughing and they'll kind of look up from their phone and be like, I don't get it. And you're like, because you're not paying attention at all. So I was thinking I need a Yonder pouch for watching movies at home. You just lock it up, have a security guard lock up my phone. And then when the movie's over, he releases the magnetic thing.
Oh man, have my phone back. I have a kitchen safe. You know what a kitchen safe is?
Yeah, I see that every time I stop by your place. But tell the people what it's for.
Tell the good folks at home. It's like a timed safe. Usually people use it in the kitchen, but I do use it for my phone, and it's it actually sometimes fucks me over a little because Christian, you'll call with something mildly urgent, and I'm like, well, I can't talk to Christian for 2.5 hours. But I do it to prevent myself from looking at my phone and being distracted, and I'll lock it up for 2 to 3 hours or something. And I love it. It's great. You got a fan out of me, Kitchen Safe. Use promo code
Brett.
Brett hates late night hosts for 20% off.
That's the problem is we've become so reliant on these phones. So if you put your phone away for 2.5 hours, you're right. That would be the time someone was trying to reach you about something somewhat important. And then you're like, oh, sorry, I didn't answer the phone because it was locked in a safe. And you're like, what? What do you mean?
I do sometimes have to explain. Yeah. They're like, just have better impulse control. I'm like, that's not going to happen. That is
not going to happen. It's not possible, unfortunately. I wish it was possible.
So, do you ever feel better than people when you're not on your phone and you see people on their phone in public?
You can't just not be on your phone for a minute, guys.
Yeah.
Because that was the 1 minute you weren't on yours.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what oh, sorry.
No, I was gonna say I went to a hockey game, and it's funny. Like I went to the Madison Square Garden for Game 1 of the Stanley Cup playoffs. The Penguins playing the Rangers, and it was fucking ridiculous. It went to 3 overtimes because in the playoffs it's just continuous overtime. Longest game in Madison Square Garden history.
Wow.
The Penguins won. It was fucking amazing. But,
damn, you saw that? That's awesome.
Yeah, it was great. And then what's really cool, that was Tuesday night, but we like at the end of every period, you go to the bathroom and then get a beer and then go back and sit down. There's like a 20-some minute intermission in between periods, right? So you have just enough time to go to the bathroom, get a beer, go sit down.
Is that how much time it is, really? 20 minutes?
Something like that. Yeah, like 20, 30 minutes or whatever. But anyway, we go to the bathroom and the bathroom line's long. And it just happened to be one of the times where I wasn't on my phone. Everybody else in the bathroom was on their phones, looking down in the bathroom line on their phones. And somebody blatantly walks to the front of the bathroom line, cuts in front of everybody, and then goes and takes a piss. But nobody noticed because everybody was on their phone. And I was the only one who saw it. And I was like, well, I mean, I'm not going to say, I'm also wearing the fucking other team's colors right now. So I'm not about to call out a Rangers fan in front of all these Rangers fans.
Yeah.
But it's just, you can kind of get away with a lot of shit like that because everybody is just on their phones. They're just looking down. They're not looking up. So you could literally just cut and no one will even fucking know. Not even the guy that you cut directly in front of. He didn't even fucking see anything.
I'm going to try that to like rob a bank. Just literally walking behind the teller's desk, opening a drawer very casually.
Yeah.
They're still on that's very funny. This guy's the big brain, the true big brain. He definitely felt good about himself when he was doing it.
Yeah. He's like, I'm not going to stand in line with these suckers. Suckers looking on their phone.
These chimps who have to be entertained constantly while he's entertainment.
It's like it almost looks like a commercial. Like that's like a commercial thing where he'd be like, everybody's on their phone in the bathroom line. He just walks up and cuts everybody. The concession stand, he like everybody, the person at the counter's on their phone. He just grabs a hot dog and walks away. Fucking players are on their phone. He just scores a goal.
That is a flip phone commercial.
Yeah, I was about to say that could be the flip phone guy. He's just like, I used to be on my phone all the time, and then I got a Motorola Razr. Now the only thing I can do on my phone is text and play Snake.
Get your life back.
The best thing about having a Razr phone, you can steal. And you just show some Robert Banks.
That's great. That would be a good ad campaign. Get your life back, and then you're just stealing. Don't you miss committing crime? Just don't you miss stealing? Don't you miss petty crimes? Man.
Do we want to talk about the fucking landmine that is the potential Roe v. Wade? I don't even know how to say it, dissolution or repeal.
Yeah. I mean, just like that's why you don't live in a shitty state.
It's actually kind of fucked up to think about how much more. Is the term balkanized? How much more just divided America will get when you just like have that get decided by states. It's like we're even more culturally going to divide.
Yeah.
Like, people will actually change their geography. I think people really will. And like, I don't know. It just sucks.
It's not that I believe in progressivism or liberalism or whatever that much. Cause I think like, there's a lot of ideas that are really good on paper, but when you add in the human element of somebody has to be in charge, power corrupts, that type of shit. But I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't believe in like liberalism or anything like that strongly, but I will say, yeah, let's do it. Let's like divide up the fucking states and just let's go see how your Mississippi lifestyle. See how it works out. Let's go see how Mitch McConnell's shitty state, which by the way gets money from states like New York and California who make so much money. There's like a subsidy that goes in. Let's do it. Let's see how your lifestyle with your shitty state does when you want to turn into a fucking Handmaid's Tale situation. Let's see who the best and brightest minds are. Go. Let's see where they go. Let's see. It's an experiment. If you think you're right, if you think your way of living is ethical and better than everybody else's, and you want to ban rights, you go do that in your little shitty place, and let's see how great it is to be there, and let's see how happy your people are. Let's see what your economy does, because I think every measurable one of those things, when you start attacking people's civil liberties, these are going to go down the toilet. It's just like no one's going to want to go there. It's like, let's just, like, if you guys are so obsessed with the free market, let's see how it works in the world. Let's see what state does better. Which states do better when you turn your state into some crazy town, and then let other people have civil liberties, and let's see what happens. I mean, I'm here for it. Like, I think Texas, like, I'm kind of rooting for them to fail because of all this shit, because they could do so, because like liberalism and woke whatever is just so annoying that all they would have to do to literally win everybody's votes is just to be like, that shit's dumb. We're not doing the woke thing. But then you don't have to turn into your own version of woke, which is the crazy ideological religious right who wants to fucking do all these things. If you were just in the fucking middle, dude, on things, you would take over the entire everything. Everybody would vote Republican, but you can't get there, can you? You're just like, I don't know. It's just annoying.
I think it's also proof that we do, you mentioned the bubble, and it's like, what percentage of America, Republicans have done an amazing job convincing people that their Christianity is on the line for abortion and on no other issue. Right. That's like brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. They've put up some billboards of a fetus, and now people think that's the only place I need to apply my Christianity.
Yeah.
Right. And not their Christian values on anything else. Like, I don't know, homelessness. Like, it's like crazy that like that was like Jesus's main thing was like be cooler to like the weak and the homeless. That was like his main thing. And yet we're like, but like, that's your fault.
Right.
Jesus never said get a job.
Real quick real tiny sidebar, just because you said Jesus. I just saw Book of Mormon again this past weekend, and there's just one part that's so South Parky. It's the most South Park thing in the play, where at some point Jesus shows up and he goes, I'm Jesus Christ, you guys. I'm Jesus Christ, you guys. It's fucking amazing.
Why are they so good at writing, at distilling it down to it's like writing, they're like these, they're brilliant, but they're make things sound like they're morons. Do you know what I mean? I'm Jesus Christ, you get that's Cartman. That's Cartman
exactly
talking and saying he's Jesus Christ. And there's a certain South Park has, there is it's all the different foreign languages have different tonalities that they exist in. There's a South Park tone. Hey guys, how's it going? There are several South Park tones that when you say it, it just sounds like South Park.
It's just the over dramatic, in deaths too. When somebody dies in South Park, they're completely over the top death, super melodramatic, everything. Even in the play at one point, he the singing where he's there's a song where he goes, I have to man up. He goes, he manned up and he manned up. And this is the second time I saw it, and he did it exactly that. So that's definitely a note, because there's little variances in each performance is always kind of variances, but it's that's a very distinct direction to go. No, it's man up.
It's a Michael McDonald's
exactly.
Yeah.
For some reason it has to sound like that, otherwise it's not funny.
So funny.
God damn, that's great.
going back to the states thing, it's really interesting because I was just listening to this podcast where they were talking about the presidents, and they were talking about how so much of this country was about like just about the fight over slavery. It's like whether we should have it or not. And the idea of free states versus slave states, like we could definitely be in a position of like abortion states and non-abortion states.
I know.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we're
And I'm going to
really
be the John Brown of the abortion states.
Sounds good.
I'm going to lead an abortion fetus revolt. I don't know.
Fetus revolt.
It's such a strange thing too. This is my conspiracy theories. I think that they're waiting until after the midterms to because from what I understand, like the Supreme Court always does this type of shit. They're like, let's just kind of do a preliminary voting on certain things because the case has to be brought to the Supreme Court and they have to accept it. So it wasn't like the Supreme Court could just be like, hey, we're just ruling that dead today. Like it's like a procedure that has to happen. So I think like they're always like, it's like war games or like you're always like, what happens if, Cuba invades Florida? Like how would we militarily respond to that? Right. Yeah. So like, I think the Supreme Court has a version of that where they just like start voting on cases and stuff to have like a basis to go to. If the case gets brought to them, they could be like, well, these were our thoughts the last time. So I don't think that this was something that they were trying to, I think that because if they knew that this was coming up before the midterms, like that only helps the Democrats because most people are for Roe v. Wade. Like in every poll, it's like 60% of people are fine with it. And like, I think I read a study that's like 43% of people are pro-choice, but only 14% of people are like strictly pro-life. All the rest of them are some sort of like, okay, well, if you get raped, you can have one. Or like if it's a medical thing, you can have one. And most of those people fall into the having Roe v. Wade for the reasons of like, I wouldn't get an abortion, but if this happened to somebody, I think they should be able to get an abortion, like that crowd. So like, it's not like this is a popular thing. It's not like it's as 50-50 as people are making it out to be. I just feel like whoever leaked it was trying to help out the Democrats because they were going to get smoked during the midterms. But now if people think that abortion's on the table of being taken away, I feel like a lot of people are going to come out.
I mean, first off, I like the idea of like, God, it's really fucked up that, people like, you're right. The lines are never so clear. So it's like, all right, there are some people who, if a woman was, sexually assaulted, then she would be allowed to get an abortion. But then you're going to have people lying about their sexual assault to get an abortion the same way people would lie about an illness to get medical marijuana from like, like the early 2010s were like, I was totally raped.
I love when we're talking about abortion as Whitmer holds up his infant child.
Guys, this is my baby. So anybody who's thinking of getting an abortion, this is what a miracle looks like.
I do have a friend who is on Facebook who's like, this leak is completely, illegal and fucked up. And he's like, this is Satan at work. And I was just kind of like, I mean, regardless of what you think, is like, do you really think this kind of decision is like one that should be passed in like the dead of night? Like,
like complete in secrecy.
Right. Like as if the fact that like, maybe this thing should be talked about beforehand is like not something. It's like, no, just do it and don't tell anybody.
It's crazy. It's crazy to, first off, like, this is Satan at work. They're like, all right, bro. This was an intern that was an intern to a mid-level person. That's what that was.
Honestly, I think it's like a high level, probably one of the liberal court members saw this and was like, and they're like, hey, I'm going to leave this on my desk. Yeah. Maybe an intern should get this out somewhere.
Right.
Yeah, it's just not you.
Exactly.
Oh, will you get those? I don't need them. Whatever it's fine.
It would be great if there's such a bad intern they don't get it. They're like, I'm going to leave this on the desk. Okay, I won't touch it. You know, I yes, you definitely should not touch it. But if it were to leave, you know, I couldn't do anything about that. I'll make sure it doesn't
the
leave.
room to get a coffee for 20 minutes.
Yeah. Is it weird that Jake Tapper's phone number is attached to the top of it? I don't know. I'm just saying, you know, if he so happened to hear about this, I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there.
Well, I'll cross out Tapper's number so it doesn't.
Yeah, I think.
Oh my god.
So funny, man. I mean, it's yeah, it was definitely a liberal person who leaked it. It does make you think, like, man, the Supreme Court really is clearly a political wing of our system.
Clearly.
It's so obviously is, and
it all is
so nakedly don't try and hide it. And I mean, you know, the whole lifetime appointment thing is like, what?
Yeah.
So they just get to never have their what is it, abdicated or whatever, abdicated of their duties. That's like wild. Of course they're gonna like do what they want and apply their value system.
Right.
And like, I'm not a person who believes any of them are villains, but you know, like, isn't it kind of fucking totally shady that like that woman was like, oh, I'm not going to legislate my values. And then she's been in for like a year and a half. And now it's like, oh yeah.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah. I knew you were just saying that. I knew it was a lie. I gave you the benefit of the doubt.
There has to be some sort of like, there has to be some repercussions of that. Cause am I really led to believe that 3 justices who all said in their confirmation hearing that they wouldn't overturn Roe v. Wade, all of a sudden, coincidentally, all of them had a change of heart? Because yeah, sure, you can change your mind with new information, but what new information happened in the last 2-3 years that made you change your mind on something that you were so sure about that you said it was established law? Like, you lied in the job interview to get the job. That's what happened. Right. Everybody does it, but you need to be honest about that. And I think that like there needs to be some sort of repercussions for that. Like, you can't just do that. Like, this isn't like you lied to work at, because you were 16, you're trying to work at Hot Topic and you lied about having retail experience. You know, like, this is like a major thing that you lied about. So I don't know. Like, I just feel like I don't know. I'm just sick of, because the right literally has this golden opportunity to take away the zeitgeist from the left. And they just go back to their tried and true anti-abortion, anti-gay marriage, anti-this, that, and the other. And you're just fucking, dude, nobody wants that shit. Nobody like, you think you're doing no one wants that shit, dude. There's not like, it's so, even in red states, like it's not as popular as you think it is.
If someone could just be, it's like, if someone would just go, we're going to make less taxes. We're going to just less money to pointless shit. And by the way, I'm not going to be annoying on cultural stuff. Like if that, and I'm not even a guy who's like, I want, what is it? I'm fiscally conservative, but I am socially liberal. I even think that's like, can sometimes be an annoying thing for someone to say. No, I'm not fiscally conservative. I mean, like, tax the wealthy, don't tax the not wealthy, like from middle, and then just like, don't be fucking awful on like cultural stuff. Just like, don't be fucking awful. Like, not, you know what I mean? And not even in like the fake stuff of like trans bathrooms, which becomes a way bigger issue than it actually remotely is. But some people want to feel morally good. I mean, just on like, I guess abortion is on the table. I don't know. That's the thing about like conservatives. They never let it go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They never let it go. Like, just you're like, cool. Fuck, man, it was 50 years. Let it go.
You just want to Civil War. Huh? Oh, I know. Yeah.
Even the Civil, like kind of not even kidding. Like, the Confederate flag, just let it go. Let it go, bro. It's over.
Yeah. So like I think there's been a trend with certain liberal people who are in the middle who have now kind of ventured off to the right in a lot of ways. And I think that like this type of shit's going to kill that, because you like no reasonable open-minded person who's in the middle can go for this. Like, it's it's just not in the cards.
And then that's what sucks too, is like, I'm not even a person who's like, they're the same party. They're not, but they both are corporatist and they suck in that way. But at least one is corporatist and is not trying to like overturn a law from 50 some years ago.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, I think that's probably about it.
Guys, how is that for hot takes? I know we are
solved it.
sizzling. Solved it. The number one political cultural podcast in the world. Here's what we got to plug.
Real quick, I want to plug my YouTube channel where I'm going to dismantle Brett's hot take this week.
Brett's a pussy, believe Christian, with Cristian Duran.
Anyway, yeah, let's get to the plugins.
Guys, you know what it is? You go to racethemovietheplay.com and please give to our Kickstarter, or you can find our Kickstarter on our Instagram pages. Literally $1 helps. $1 helps. Yes. It moves the backers up. It keeps us on the front page of anything. Yep. So if you haven't donated, it's time. Please it's the friction of time. I'll DM you a link if you just say, Brett, link. Don't even, but racethemovietheplay.com. Our play is coming out in a month and a half. Get your tickets on my Instagram page or Christian's or even Whitmer's. It's all there.
And also,
if you go to the link in my sorry, go ahead, Chris.
No, if you're donating to the Kickstarter, the thing is, if you don't live in New York City, you can't attend the play. $25 will get you a video of the show. So that's, I mean, that's a ticket right there. That's 2 tickets. You're helping us out, and you get the show. So
you get to watch it. In my link, my Instagram bio link, there are tickets to, there are links to get tickets and also to donate to the Kickstarter there too. If you follow me and you want an easy way to find the links, they're there.
Well, that's the big plug, guys. Thank you so much. Like, share, subscribe, rate, and review. We'll see you guys next week. Thank you, guys.
Yep. Bye.